Gautam, aka the Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation coach, and in this video, we're going to be talking about manifesting things on a time crunch and how do you go about the process, and also a little bit about how to manifest your SP on a Valentine's Day date if you are manifesting that. Because as of the time I'm recording the video, it's the 5th of February. So there's about 9 days, almost a week left for Valentine's Day. And I just wanted to gloss over that really quick as well for those of you who are manifesting your SP. So before I do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching. I offer hourly, monthly, email, and DM coaching. The link will be in the description down below to my Linktree page, where I have a coaching FAQ where you'll have all the information you need. So you can DM me for price via my Instagram or through email for more information on that. And of course, if you need more clarification, I also have a Facebook group where I upload resources and where you can ask me questions anonymously if you wish to do so. And I also have a mailing list where I post articles time to time and also my latest offers for coaching as well. Again, all the link will be in the description down below, so be sure to check it out. So without further ado, guys, let's get to it. So time crunch is often spoken about in the manifesting community, and it's something that many of us like to really think about and really try to figure this out and really effectively master the art of really manifesting on a time crunch, right? Because we know that certain things we can manifest. We can manifest everything that we want, but also many of us want to really master this art, so that not only are we manifesting essentially, but also doing it almost at an instantaneous pace. And so that we are not waiting for anything, so that we are enjoying everything in the 3D right here right now. So which is understandable, but there are several layers to this that you have to like really understand, and to really sort of master this game. And the first thing, of course, I will say is that what's your self concept with regards to that area, right? You have to figure that out. Because if you follow me on Instagram, where I initially posted a lot of videos, I made one on self concept, and in that I mentioned that we have various different self concepts for different areas of our life. So for your work and your career, you have one self concept, and for relationships it might be another way. That's why you see a lot of gifted people, like in their careers and whatnot, really struggle with relationship, because they have different self concepts for both of those things. And the moment you understand that, you get to really think about what is your self concept with regards to the area that you are manifesting at, right? So the reason why you have to really think about that is because success in one area doesn't translate to another. In many cases, oftentimes it even requires different techniques. That is something that I've found in my own experience. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below what your experience is with this. I'd love to know your thoughts on this, guys. So that's the first thing, right? Knowing what your self concept is, and like writing down or really reflecting on why you think you can or why you think you can't manifest this, and really like looking at those reasons, like figuring out what your limiting beliefs are, is another way to really like sit down and really reflect on it, is one thing that you should be doing, especially when you're manifesting on a time crunch, because there's no time to really go about this in a way that you are trying to figure out, and you're being very passive about it, right? You're being very active about the whole process. So you are figuring out like, okay, what is it that's potentially limiting you in terms of belief systems and whatnot, and you are trying to really figure out, okay, these are the things that are limiting me, and I'm switching those thoughts like from now on. And you take a very no nonsense approach right from the get go, right? So right from the start, right? So after you have figured out what your self concept is, once you have figured out what your limiting beliefs are, you declare for a fact that by X days, right, you have already gotten your desire. On this day you have already gotten your desire done, right? And regardless of what happens, you stick to that. Regardless of what you see in your 3D, you stick to that with a level of conviction, right? I think in my previous video too, I often spoke about the level of conviction that Abdullah had when he told Neville, like, you are now in Barbados, right? So have that level of conviction, and don't think about the when, don't think about the how, don't try to figure out how it's all going to come into you, like into your 3D, because the truth of the matter is that you are not going to know how it's all going to come to you. You are not going to know how your SP may call you for a Valentine's Day date, But here's the thing, as coaches always say, like circumstances don't matter, right? There already exists a reality where you have went through all the things that you have done so right now, and you still managed to get your desire at the exact same day that you wanted, right? The only thing you need to do is to believe that it's done, and walk in that faith that it's done, right? So that's all you have to do, right? So don't be shaken by the 3D in any way, and you keep going, right? You declare it and you go, right? So that's why you have to figure out at the start like what your self concept is like, because I feel like that really plays a huge factor when it comes to this, right? So when it comes to self concept, how do you see yourself with regards to this area of your life? Do you think you can manifest it? Do you think you can't manifest it? Once you have found out all those limiting beliefs, like one exercise I always like to prescribe is writing them down, striking them off, and writing an opposite favorable statement below those things. So you get to switch your beliefs, and you hold on to these new shifted beliefs consistently, and in your mind you always declare that this is already done by this day. This is done. I have gotten this by this day. Done. And you go into the world with confidence, right? And this may not be the easiest thing to do, and I'll be the first one to admit it, but you can use this as a test, right? There's this thing where if you are given 30 days to clean your room, it's going to take 30 days, but if you give yourself maybe an hour, that's all it's going to take as well. And funny enough, I do believe that for manifestation as well, right? A lot of people, in one of my posts I mentioned this thing called the learner's trap, right? You often think that this is a process, that you have to do a certain set of things in order for you to manifest it, and so on and so forth, or you have to master this, you have to grasp it in order for this to manifest. But in many of our cases, we know that we are always manifesting in our life. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, we are like you are the ones who set the rules, right? We are the ones who determine the quote unquote rules of our reality. So if we think certain thing is going to take X amount of time to manifest, that's what's going to take. But if you think it can happen sooner or instantly even, that's what will happen as well. But you need to declare it with a sense of boldness, and not come at it from a place of how can this happen or will this happen, and check social media or 3D, for science, for example, right? So you shouldn't be doing all those things if you are coming at it from a level of conviction, right? And this may take practice for you, but it may not need any practice, because if you have been experiencing success in this area, this may be something that is very easy for you. So what I would say is that take a look at that area of your life where you can manifest things very easily, and see what are the underlying what are the beliefs that are there, right? What are the underlying beliefs that are there that enables you to do so, right? And then you compare that with the area that you're struggling in, where you're not getting your manifestations quickly, and you see what are the underlying limiting beliefs there, and you compare them, and you see like, okay, so these are the things, but do I feel the same way for the successful manifestations, for this area of my life? And when you compare, I think you get to see like what is it that you're doing wrong for the unsuccessful areas of your life. And when you can see that clearly, I think you're able to manifest better, right? Because this is more like of a long term thing that you're trying to cultivate, right? Because if your foundation is strong here, chances are you're going to manifest things instantly, one thing after another with ease, right? So it's not just it doesn't just seem like a fluke. So that happens for a lot of people, right? Especially in the case of SP, where they will manifest the SP once, and then second or third time it doesn't really happen, and that really becomes a struggle for them. So yeah, so what I would say is think about it in that way, and you can take what works from other areas of your life and apply it here. So again, see what your self concept is with regards to that area, see what your limiting beliefs are, and right from the get go you declare that this is already a done deal. And what else can you do, right? As I mentioned earlier, stop checking 3D. It's not going to help you, right? In my previous video I also talked about stop like the importance of not checking 3D, because if you really think about it, it's not showing faith, right? That's why Abdullah literally slammed the door when Neville wanted to ask him to get a little bit of hope, as he puts it, right? And also again, one of the phrases that I really love from Neville, that I like to use is, God shall not be mocked. If you can see it in your mind, it's done, keep going, right? So just slam the door, right, to your doubts and keep going, right? Dwell in your imaginal scenes more, don't check 3D, and you keep going. What are the other things you can do when you are manifesting on a time crunch, right? You simply let it go. You let it go with a sense of knowingness that it's already done, and you drop it at that, right? You know, and that's about it, honestly, right? It's not a very complicated process, but as humans, of course, we tend to complicate it, right? Don't justify your limiting beliefs to yourself nor to others. That's something that a lot of people will do with me when they are talking about manifesting and so on. They'll always say, well, but this is a huge one, how can this happen by then, and so on, right? Especially for SP, right? But this person is in no contact with me, how do you think he can bring me on a date to Valentine's Day, for example, right? Don't justify your limiting beliefs, right? That's what you're doing by essentially asking me that question. Not that anyone asked me that, but just an example, right? You are essentially justifying that. You're essentially justifying your limiting beliefs, right? That you're defending that. Don't, right? Think about reasons as to why it can happen, right? Because you never know what's going behind the scenes, and this is what you are thinking right now is just a limiting assumption, right? So always see that you're just assuming, but in an unfavorable manner. So train yourself to assume the best, and you keep going, right? We often hear stories about overnight successes. We often hear stories about people winning the jackpot like instantly, and so on, right? Why? Because they have been planting those seeds way before that, right? So like, come at it from a place of conviction. And I know this approach may not be for everyone, but I certainly felt that if you, especially if you are a veteran in the community, and if you are feeling like you are slacking off, or you're not having a level of conviction with a certain thing in life, with regards to your desire and so on, I feel that giving yourself a timeline is a really a good thing, right? If you are beginning, it may stress you out, and I'll admit that. But if you are a veteran in the community, if you have had a lot of successes in the past with other things, and let's say you're struggling with maybe like SP, for example, right? Giving yourself that timeline is really going to help you. Giving yourself that strict timeline is really going to keep you in check, keep your mental diet in check. So that's the other thing is to keep a favorable mental diet towards this thing. You're not going to think about the how, you're not going to think about the when, you're not going to think as to why it may not happen. All you think about is how like you're going to enjoy yourself, right, when it does pan out. And you do so by living in the end. You imagine that, and you imagine those scenes, and you just dwell in that as much as you can, and that's all you have to do. And in the process of doing so, you will assume it to be a fact, and you will just go by life. And one neat trick that I always tell my clients is shorten your timelines, right? What do I mean by that is, let's say something is going to come maybe from a month from now, right? You want to decide it maybe from a month from now. What I would say is, okay, if it were to come to you tomorrow, what would you be doing, right? Would you feel ready? And if the answer is no, that's where your limiting beliefs are, right? Why do you feel no, right? Why do you feel the way you feel? And when you think about it that way, things becomes much more clear for you, because somewhere you think there's still enough time for me to quote unquote prepare. But we all know that everything in the imaginal plane or the 4D happens instantaneously. So why do you not feel ready? And I think asking yourself such questions really allows you to manifest things on a time crunch, right? Because it allows you to know what is it that you're doing wrong, and you're not being passive about it, you're being active about it. And in the process of doing so, you're cutting down any limiting beliefs, and you're just assuming things with a level of conviction that this is already done by this date. And you're doing so without any limiting beliefs, you're doing so without asking when or how, you just know it's done and you go, right? And just buckle up for the ride and you go, right? It will happen, right? And know that every event right from there, right, is just a bridge of incidents that's unfolding, and you just trust the process and you go. That's all you have to do. Don't check the 3D for validation. Don't try to talk to people for validation. The validation is in your imagination, and that's all you need, right? And you go walk in faith, and that's all you have to do. So for the example of an SP, right, even though there might only be a week, that's plenty of time, right? 7 days is a lot of time. A lot of things can happen in 7 days. If you are manifesting your SP, right, and if you want a date from them, definitely, just declare that you guys are going on a date. Then, affirm it. Persist in that assumption that it's already done, and you walk in faith. You go by your day, right? I don't care if you're in no contact. I don't care what the situation is. You are now going on a date with your SP, right? You went on a date with your SP and you had a great time, right? Declare that to yourself and go into the world happily, right? So that's all you have to do, right? Don't defend your limiting beliefs, don't justify them, don't give value to them, right? Energy flows where attention goes. So place your attention on just having an enjoyable time with your SP, right? So that's all you have to know, guys. We have come to the end of this video. If this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Turn on the notification button so that you will know when I upload a new video every single week. Let me know what you guys think about this, and thank you so much for supporting the channel and also my Instagram page as well. Just a quick announcement, I also have a backup page called the Seeker Wisdom 2 with like eyes at the end. This is so that because my Instagram was acting up recently, and I just needed another backup account, so be sure to follow that as well. Again, I'll put the link in the description down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.